Welcome back. Until recently, for college graduates, finding that first job was a rite of passage. Now it's something much more and much less pleasant. New York Times reporter Jodi Kantor has got an upcoming book, How to Start, which looks at the difficulties these college graduates right now are finding as they try to begin their career. Here is some of my conversation with her about those difficulties and how artificial intelligence plays into them. As bluntly as you can describe it, tell my audience what the typical college graduate encounters with looking for a job and artificial intelligence as an intermediary.
Thank you so much for asking, because for people like you and I who are older, it is so hard to understand what they're facing. I actually want to read you something that a student wrote because I want to do it in her voice, not mine. This is from Alejandra Diaz Pizarro. She graduated from Columbia last spring, so great student, great school. To describe the feeling of applying for a job right now, she said, the main way I describe it is demoralizing. It's spending days infinitely tweaking your resume so that whatever AI screening bot is doing the first round culling won't immediately toss yours out. Even talking to a real person on the other end feels like an achievement. It feels like tossing your materials out into a void, pressing send on applications, the majority of which you'll never hear back from, while hearing from the news, from the adults around you, and from your peers just how bad the job market is. And Major, what I really want to stress is it's the lack of interaction with real people that is so disquieting, because we've been through a million down economic cycles before. This is a little different. Not only do these students fear that AI is restructuring the economy and wiping away entry level jobs that used to exist, but when they apply for jobs, it's really hard to talk to anyone because AI is doing a lot of the interviewing in the first rounds. So they describe it as dehumanizing, degrading, and discouraging.
And Jodi, I would imagine some of these students might try to turn to AI to talk to AI to help them through this. Does that happen?
Exactly, you've got it. There's like a computer to computer dialogue happening here where students are told that they have to essentially game their resumes for AI. So the cover letters they're writing, Major, are not the ones that you and I were taught to write that are meant to be friendly and insightful and engaging. They're like formulas that are designed to hit certain things. Then those resumes are talking to the employers side of things. And also, what I've learned is that neither side really likes this, because if you're an employer and if you're looking for a promising young person, first of all, you're getting 800 resumes at a time because the technology is enabling young people to kind of mass apply for things, even things that might be wrong for them. And second of all, employers are saying, how am I supposed to differentiate? How am I supposed to figure out the best human being for this position through this kind of technological fog?
And is there something that students in this place they find themselves in can do, or are they adrift in the first phase of the AI revolution and floating like some sort of cork on the sea, and there's almost no agency for them to get out of that predicament?
I've become obsessed with that question, and I feel like we all have to help because things are so hard. I feel like we need to bring these students, these graduates, these 20 somethings, everything we have, not with any false optimism or kind of slick advice, because that will get us rejected immediately. Um, but with time tested wisdom that can help them face these challenges. So I wrote a book about this. I did it kind of in my spare time. I couldn't stop writing, but I have covered employment and the workplace for my entire career. And as a mother and as a citizen and as a witness to what was happening, I felt like we need to help this generation.
With that experience you just mentioned, Jodi, is this time different? Because I hear routinely, it's no different than any other jarring moment of technological advancement, but I'm not sure that's correct.
I think you're right. I don't think I mean, we'll see. We don't know all the answers yet. But really, the way this project started was that last year I gave the commencement address at Columbia, and it was an assignment from the students. And it came with a really hard question. As journalists, we're connoisseurs of questions. And man, I thought this one was tough and good, Major. They said to me, how are we supposed to figure out our life's work in this crazy environment? And they weren't only talking about the mess at Columbia, they were talking about AI. They were talking about the fact that things that felt like steady bets, like law firms or computer science degrees, didn't feel so secure anymore. They were talking about the fact that this generation was told to rush towards the promise of STEM. Well, now those computer science jobs aren't available. Labs were dismantled with the president's budget cuts. They also said, this is really sad. They said, we know it's time to look for bosses and mentors, but our faith in authority is weak. So they gave me this challenge of saying, Jodi, tell us what to do. And so I summoned everything I knew as a reporter through making my own way. I wrote them the best speech I could. More students came to me after the speech. And I finally said to myself, I am sitting down and I am writing a manifesto and a pep talk intended to give these students the best possible shot at work of meaning. What I'm disturbed about is that their sense of aspiration is diminishing. We can't give up on the idea of work. First of all, work is how we spend our time, it's how we make our money, obviously, to support our families. But also, work is our engine of collective progress. I mean, if we give up on work, who is going to invent new cancer therapies or make a show like this one?
Exactly. Thank you for that, Jodi. Well played.
Kids, CBS needs you.
Please say that 6 or 7 more times. Just weave that in the next half hour. Jodi and I talked about so many other things, and among the things we talked about, her entry-level job search trauma, my entry-level job search traumas, and so much more. You can catch the rest of that conversation on your favorite podcast platform.